Hello, my name is Andre Hardy, and welcome to Laughing Out Loud. This program will take an analytical look at humor and its influences across culture. So the real-life situation in discussion will be the Charlie Hebdo situation of 2014. The satirical newspaper Charlie Hebdo published a cartoon featuring the Prophet Muhammad with a sign that says, 100 lashes if you don't die of laughter. Following the publication, terrorists stormed the offices and buildings and shot both workers as well as various police officers throughout Paris. Now, these shootings led me to wonder if some people saw this cartoon offensive enough to kill other people, but others found it hilarious, then how do different people decide what's funny, and really, how do any of us develop a sense of humor? Derived from these is my knowledge question. I'm going to be analyzing and answering to what extent do faith and emotion affect what a culture determines as humor within the arts. My first claim is that art is subjective across cultures. We will be looking at the ways of knowing, imagination, and memory. How a person or culture perceives art is unique to them due to the paths down which their imagination leads. Now, music can make different people imagine different things. What may bring up one scenario for someone may bring up a different scenario for another. Let's take a look at an example. Pachelbel's Canon in D. If you could play the...
Oh.
Now, for some, this song may conjure up visions of a wedding on a warm June day, the sun surrounding the bride and groom as they take their eternal vows. Others may see themselves around a warm fireplace, conversing with family, and enjoying the company that Christmas brings each year. Or if you're a cellist like me, this song may breed images of hate because we just play the same 8 notes for 7 minutes straight. Now, no one person is right or wrong in what they imagine because the paths down which their imagination takes them is unique. And each of the previous connections between certain topics and aspects of art lead to preconceived notions about art. Now, when we're looking at memory, specifically in the field of mathematics, we can see a similar link. Math requires people to call upon their past experiences to remember certain aspects of what they learned. Take, for example, this equation. Now, depending upon how much you've learned in math and your past experiences, some of you may have absolutely no idea where to start with this. Some of you may be wondering, wait, I thought this was math, where are all the numbers? And some of you may be thinking, oh wow, this is really easy. This was like years ago, this is simple. And this is all, and each of us have different memories, and that impacts what we know and what we believe. Now, when we're looking at what we consider art, culture is an inherent part to the formation of our opinions, and this is simply unavoidable. The environment in which we live and grow shapes our beliefs and perceptions. Despite this, one counterclaim that arises is that there are certain nuances within art that are objectively beautiful across cultures. One example is symmetry. Whether it's the vertical symmetry in a butterfly's wings or the radial symmetry in a flower, symmetry is something that humans find inherently beautiful. However, when looking at what beauty is and what it really asks us to contemplate, we can see that it is overall subjective. My second claim is that humor is subjective and will be analyzed through the ways of knowing language and emotion. Due to its nature, humor requires language to express ideas. When we're looking at the language in the subject of history, we can see that throughout history, language and vernacular has changed. The words used at the time directly impact what is considered funny. For example, this joke from 1896. A fellow told his ma that there are 2 holes in his trousers, and then tells her that's where he puts his feet through. At the time, this joke was funny enough to make the front page of the Cincinnati Enquirer, but nowadays it really doesn't have the same effect. That is because the language used at that point in history may invoke a different emotion than compared to now. Across cultures, different emotions may arise when exposed to the same language. And what we learn is that our beliefs and our emotions directly impact what we find funny. The two are inseparable. Once we realize this, we can clearly observe the cultural influences in humor. However, a counterclaim arises. A counterclaim is also seen. Certain topics are deemed unfunny no matter your culture. Things like war or genocide or slavery or religion and religious figures are things that all cultures agree should stay out of the jokes. However, some people still find these topics funny and make jokes about them. For example, in the musical Book of Mormon, it pokes fun at the Mormon faith. In the musical Springtime for Hitler, it makes light of the Nazi regime and the Holocaust. And YouTubers such as Filthy Frank and other people often make offensive videos, and throughout the internet you can see hundreds or thousands of really offensive and crude memes and jokes. And so, through my analysis, I've really been able to find two strong concluding points. First, that culture impacts our perceptions. When we look at humor in the arts, we can see that our environment and our culture have strong impacts. Second, subjectivity and bias are inevitable. Due to their nature, the arts are inherently subjective. Therefore, bias is to be expected whenever an individual experiences any aspect within the field. Overall, the implications to the knowers, you and me, are quite apparent and crucial to our understanding of why humor is subjective. Humor changes as we change. Our language, imagination, and memory constantly change, and we can see a correlating change in our sense of humor. The environment in which we grow and the beliefs we hold on constantly shape our sense of humor, no matter who we are. When we look back at the Charlie Hebdo situation, we can see that the magazine was not at fault. The editors and the cartoonists were simply expressing their sense of humor they had, the sense of humor that was shaped by their beliefs, their culture, and their environment. And the motives behind the terrorist actions were also not at fault as well. Their sense of humor was clearly different than those at the magazine. However, the discrepancy was not a call for such extreme violence as did happen. Now, these conclusion points can also be applied to a different real-life situation. The song Kill Yourself by artist Bo Burnham. Now, you can click again. Bo Burnham is a comedic musician who recently wrote this song entitled Kill Yourself. And in the song, he suggests suicide as an answer to your problems.
Have you ever felt sad or lonely? Have you ever felt 2 feet tall? Have you ever thought mad and fondly? How is anybody else at all? They like to kick you when times get rough, and you give your all, but it's not enough, and sticks and stones might break your bones, but words can break your heart. But if you don't know where to go, I'll show you where to start. Kill yourself. You'll be happy that you did it. Just go over to your own and shove your head in it. Kill yourself.
And despite the fact that, according to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in America alone, Burnham still pokes fun at it, making it seem less serious than it is. Again, from his point of view, he's really not at fault because he's merely just expressing the culture in which he grew, and his beliefs and environment shaped him into the man who wrote this song, and thus his sense of humor is no more right or wrong than any of ours when we look at it from his perspective. So in the end, our culture, our emotions, and our environment are what leave us laughing out loud. Now, I'll now take any questions.
So why